What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Pack Mentality podcast, where we cover all things Call of Duty Zombies, hosted by yours truly, AQ Devi, as well as Shorbz. And in today's episode, we are going to do something a little different, and we are going to rank our top 5 most overrated maps in Call of Duty Zombies. Shorbz, I would like you to take it away, give us your number 5 spot, and we can discuss and argue about it as we will.
All right, thank you, Mr. W, for the intro. My number 5 most overrated map ever is Shadowed Throne from World War II. Now, it's kind of a hard sell because not a lot of people even care much about World War II zombies as a whole. But when they do bring it up, I feel like a lot of people have Shadowed Throne as like their favorite or like second favorite map in the game. And I personally, it's my least favorite besides Tortured Path. Like, I do not have a good time when I play Shadowed Throne. The first 2 maps of the game, so it's Final Reich and Darkest Shore, those are like crazy, like horrifying atmospheres. And I definitely think Shadowed Throne kind of takes a step back compared to the first 2. Not to mention, I mean, the quest just isn't as fun. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of tedious. It feels like there's a lot of like unnecessary steps that there's really not like a lot of rhyme or reason to it. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still some charm to it. I like, there's a, if you're not familiar with it, AQW, there's like he's like a smuggler, I think, and you basically have to like give him a gun and like give him different points and stuff just for him to end up getting killed by a whistling. And like stuff like that, I love it. The boss fights is, the first step of the boss fight's cool, and you get that cutscene of Straub being killed by the zombies. Like, they all like awaken in his like chamber room thing and they kill him. That's cool, but like the boss fight itself, the actual mechanics of it aren't fun. The wonder weapon, like the gun, the little like ray thing, isn't fun. The melee weapons aren't really that fun, especially coming off of Darkest Shore, which already has a ripsaw melee weapon for, like, it's, I don't know. Yeah, so Shadowed Throne, atmosphere just doesn't do it for me. It's a lot of people's top 2 when they talk about World War II zombies and like ranking their maps. So yeah, I think for me it's got to be here at 5 for me. That's my opinion.
Fair enough. Our lists are definitely going to be a little different. Well, I don't know about the rest of your list, but I'm someone who's pretty inexperienced when it comes to World War II zombies, so spoilers, my entire list is going to be Treyarch maps, just because that's the maps that I have the most confident opinion in. There's definitely some that I probably could put on this list, but yeah, maybe you'll surprise me. Maybe the rest will be Treyarch, but we'll see. Fair enough. Yeah, I think I've barely dabbled into Shadowed Throne. I barely remember much of Darkest Shore, even though I loved what I played in that. Yeah, I don't have any opinions about that either way, but I agree with what you're saying about, I hear a lot of people when they talk about World War II maps that is one that's considered pretty high ranking, but I know your thoughts on most of the World War II maps, and I think I can agree just from what I've played, but
right.
Yeah,
just real quick to add another point. I forgot to mention this the first time around. So we see Sledgehammer take a lot of risks with Final Reich and Darkest Shore, and another reason I don't like Shadowed Throne is I feel like they took a step away from that. Like, you know, Darkest Shore, you see, the fog rolling in, the Muclers, like it's you can tell that they were like really like going out there with what they wanted to do. And Shadowed Throne, it looks like they were more so like, I guess to put it in baseball terms, they were going for like a single instead of a home run. And I think it's just better when, even if they miss, I appreciate it when devs take a big swing at something. And Shadowed Throne, it just really feels like a watered down zombies map. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in before we move on.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow when you see the team making progress, building on something, and then you feel them start to pull back.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I think the Tomb is obviously the most recent example of that. possibly Paradox, but that's yet to be seen. Yeah, it just stings a little bit more when you know like the creativity was there and something kind of halted. Maybe it's just a sense of they're very focused on launch and very focused on the finale, although you could argue a lot of finales have kind of fallen flat recently as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think their focus are on those two aspects of the gameplay life cycle, so it does kind of make sense. But it doesn't make it sting any less.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Yeah, it definitely sucks when we're starting to like really get excited, ramp up for a game. Especially you bring up the Tomb. We were thinking we were going to like Origins again, and then we got the Tomb. So yeah, absolutely, great points.
All right, I guess I'll jump into my number 5 pick, which it's definitely, I would consider overrated. I don't even think my second favorite map in its specific game, although a lot of people would say it's the best, and that's going to be Mauer der Toten from Black Ops Cold War. As much as I absolutely love the idea of the wonder weapon, it's a huge shame that its best form is its base, and the aspects of, you know, picking up different configurations of the Cerberus are so neat. I would love for them to do it again, but it feels kind of gimmicky when they are objectively inferior versions. There is some cool aesthetic stuff they do. I really like the first time you like go down into the subway and you see the train go by and all these like flame engulfed zombies just kind of hop off and come after you. I like when maps have those moments where like your first time visiting a particular location of the map, like it does something unique for the first time. So that is like a standout point. It was our introduction to Klaus, which is cool. I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, it's not the game's strongest map, even though a lot of people would like to argue it is. The boss fight is pretty mid. It's got some cinematics to it, but it's just a bitch in all the ways that I don't care for. Like, you're basically hiding most of the time, and I don't care for that. The quest in general, it's fine. The Krasny Soldat, it's a cool spin on the Panzer. In fact, I'd like for more variations of old special enemies to come back. I think the Uberklaus is sort of a spiritual successor to that, but that's a side thing. All in all, a lot of aspects to Mauer der Toten are done well enough, but not to the point where I think people kind of put it on this pedestal. I feel like it's not even revisionist history. It's like I think most people ended the game and said, yeah, Mauer's the best. I just can't get there, but that's just me.
Interesting. Okay, so as somebody that's Mauer is my favorite map on Cold War. I mean, I think you bring up some good points. It does, like the first point that you made was the fact that the base version of the Cerberus is the best version of it. Like, that's ridiculous as to why they would. I don't understand why they do that. Why they would have like the ones that you can pick up and like are, I guess, more interesting because they're not the base version of it, and they just make them like worse versions. That doesn't make sense at all. As somebody that likes a good Easter egg, I think it's the best Easter egg of Cold War, and I guess that's where maybe it gets brownie points. At the same time, I can see that Cold War did not thrive at all, to say the least, when it came to boss fights. I'll speak. I didn't get to the Outbreak boss fight. I've heard that's somewhat fun, at least.
It's wild. It really is. The first one, of course, at least.
Okay.
Legion's crazy.
Okay. I guess I was thinking of like D Machine and Firebase C, and then I mean Forsaken's I guess a little bit better than those two, but like the Mauer boss fight to me is like head and shoulders above the rest of them. So maybe that's why I would put it above the rest of the maps. But I think you also laid out some good points about Mauer and why it's maybe not your personal favorite.
Yeah, maybe I can add some context to it that people probably also aren't gonna like, which is the maps that I would put above Mauer are D Machine and Forsaken.
Okay.
I think I can make that case. Not necessarily what this video is about, but I do prefer those two over Mauer, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't have super strong opinions about Mauer, but it's definitely my favorite for Cold War. So interesting, yeah, both definitely some alternate takes. I don't think you see too many people calling any of these maps that we said overrated, but yeah, those are our fives.
That's what we're here for.
Moving on to 4, did you have anything else to say about Mauer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, moving on to my number 4. I see this map in a lot of people's top 2, I would say. I'd say it's pretty comfortably in a lot of people's top 2 for this game. Some people, it's their favorite. And this map has I think I've only soured on it more and more as time has gone on. And I still like it a little bit, but yeah, so the map's Terminus, BO6. So when I played it for the first time, they were hyping it up and everything, and I was super excited for Terminus when it came out, especially when we compared it to Liberty Falls, which I'm not a fan of personally. I do not like Liberty Falls at all. But Terminus was like the more like zombie style map, and it takes place at night, and there's some, I guess, like Zetsubo elements to it that I really liked. But then, yeah, I guess as time went on, you know, they said it was the biggest map ever, but like a lot of it's just water that you're just like riding a boat. Like you're not like interacting with zombies or anything. Like it's not like zombie playable space in the same sense of like, I don't know, everything of Origins is like a playable space. And like, I don't know, yeah, a lot of it's just like driving in the water. It's a decent Easter egg. I think it's too simple for my liking personally. I will say the introduction of the amalgam was incredible. It feels like that's watered down now that we've gotten so many amalgams in BO6. Like we just saw them so much that I think that was kind of washed down a little bit. And going back to the water, like when you first, or I'll speak for myself, when I first got in the water and I was driving the boat around, I really thought that there was like some lurking like kraken or something that at any point could like grab the boat and like drag it underwater or like kill me or something. Like a giant tentacle comes up and like slams down onto the boat, and then as you play more, you kind of just figure out that it like launches acid into the water, and like that just chases you around. So like the actual fear of like going into the water is totally taken away because there's not actually like some kind of kraken that can come up and like eat you at any moment. Like the initial fear that you feel, or at least that I felt, was gone basically like 2 games in, because I knew that like I was totally fine if I just went out in the water and could like swim away from the acid or like drive away from it or whatever. Speaking of the water, the islands that you go on are like super uninteresting. There's really not much that you can learn or take away from the islands that you go to. They're just islands near the near the main island, and they just don't do much for me. I don't know. There's no secret, like there's no like drawings or anything on them, or like a totem pole that catches your eye, or like artifacts or anything. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just boring. It feels like I wish that they maybe just stuck to the main island and went into greater depth with that, as opposed to, spanning out into the waters and stuff, and just having this stuff that just kind of feels like superficial, like filler content, essentially. So yeah, Terminus, I guess some of the positives is I love the Beam Smasher. I think that's a really fun wonder weapon, how you can use the alt fire, and then that allows you to do more damage when you actually use like the regular firing. And then Patient 13, of course, it goes without mentioning, is an unbelievable boss fight. Like that thing is incredible. Like visually it's incredible. It's super fun to go against. Like brings about different, I guess, like crit points that you can shoot at, whether it's like the red spores or like its mouth eventually, or the eyeballs. I think I think that's the third phase that you start to shoot like the blue like glowing eyeballs in the top, or are those eyeballs? I don't know. Regardless, super fun boss fight. Wonder Weapon's fun. Quest is okay, but yeah, for the most part, because it's in a lot of people's top 2, top 1 maps for BO6, it doesn't do the same thing for me. So yeah, Terminus I think is a pretty overrated map in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah. As someone that has danced around like what's my favorite map of BO6, like I've danced with Terminus and Reckoning, Shattered Veil, even the Tomb at points. I really have. You bring up a lot of good points. It definitely feels like they sort of it feels like a very, very small, almost like outbreaky experience when you get into driving the boat around to these pretty meaningless islands. You have, like Crab Island with the little side Easter egg here, or the Sentinel artifact on that one small island. Most of the POIs outside of the main island feel pretty meaningless. The ship is a cool one to train on, but there's not a lot of things around to help you. It's just good for training, but once you go down there, you're gonna have to leave to go get a self-res or something, because I'm pretty sure there's no crafting table on it. The amalgam, might be a hot take. I kind of want to see the amalgam come back. I kind of miss the guy. He's I believe he was my second favorite special enemy, special elite of BO6, number 1 being the Uberklaus. He was a very formidable enemy, but like you said, it kind of muddied the waters once they started throwing the amalgam on every single map. And you can fight him in endgame if you want in BO7. Pretty sure. I think I've seen an amalgam on there. What else did you say? The Beam Smasher. We were kind of talking before the podcast about, like the Ray K and the Mark III. I'm sort of sick of wonder weapons that make you bounce between alt fires. It feels kind of, I don't know, at this point it is being overused a bit. I'm someone that just doesn't care for the Beam Smasher. It is cool that it creates this like slow effect, and I love that like the aesthetic of it is extremely unique and it fits Terminus super well. I just don't like using the thing. What else? Terminus I have a love-hate relationship with it. Excuse me. Again, like, I feel like I could argue it as the best map, but at the same time, I could do that for a couple other maps as well. So, for people that are staunchly Terminus is the best of BO6, I don't know. I've yet to land on anything because of points like with what you're bringing up. Yeah, it's a great boss fight. Like you said, great boss fight. Can't deny that. Very fun to make Patient 13 your pin cushion in testing out really strong weapons with the right double tap augments and, But yeah, the quest is nice. I actually do enjoy the quest on Terminus. It's not too much. It's not too little. But yeah, all in all, I think you make great points. The ocean's not... it doesn't have that, like, mystique like it did before we were able to play it, Exactly. Yeah, the trailer, we saw the arms coming out. It is a good, like, allusion to the inevitable Patient 13 boss fight, but it would be cool to see, like, sort of akin to, and you brought up the similarities to Zetsubo, maybe, on exfil rounds or something like that. If you see in the distance, you can see the head poke out or something and dip back in. I'd love that.
Right.
No, that's a absolutely fair pick. Terminus is your number 4. Can't argue too much with that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's I honestly didn't think I would have that opinion about it. But when I was looking at maps and how I feel about them, and I guess at least the people that I interact with, how they think about it, that's what I landed on. So that's what I got. What's your number 4, Mr. Devi?
Oh, you're not gonna like this, bud.
No, don't do it.
We are gonna stay in the realm of Black Ops 6.
No, dude.
My
Can't do this
number
to me.
4 pick. My number 4 pick for potentially most overrated map is gonna go to Citadel Daymore.
No, bro, no, you can't do that. No, it's
I
you can't do that, bro.
The worst aspect of this map, and it is something that I don't think the map can ever live down, even after the buff, are the swords.
No.
They the swords aesthetically and story-wise are fantastic. I can't even argue with that. I think they do have really cool like special abilities attached to them. But man, they do not kill enough. As I'm sure many of you know, it was originally single swipe, single kill. They upped it to 2, and it just didn't cut it. Even though you can go all the way to health cap, it's still murking 2 zombies at a time per swipe. It just doesn't have that wonder weapon feeling to it. And I don't know if that's a byproduct of it being a melee wonder weapon, like at its core. And this is weird coming from someone that loves the Crystal Axe, aka Forsaken above Mauer, but I don't know. Something about it just doesn't hit for me in its usage. I wish I liked them more. I think they're they're sort of how they work in the story. Like we've talked about this, that like the handing it to the statues and the different salutes. It's super cool. It really is. I just don't enjoy using them at all, even with melee macchiato, and it hurts. Like if they could, I think that this map might not even be here on this list for me if they killed 5 zombies at a time. I think that would be significant enough to really push them higher, but it's just an unfortunate circumstance that the wonder weapons on the map, which are one of the main things, at least in my case, I look for in a map, is how are the wonder weapons. Like that's a staple that is like it's part of the DNA of each and every map, is what's the special thing, and the wonder weapon is just such an important aspect of that. I wish it hit more. Boss fight's cool. Boss fight's pretty cinematic. Again, sort of a pin cushion, and I think less complex than Patient 13. I'd probably put Patient 13 above the Guardian. Yeah, I think, you know, we thought that it was gonna be a much larger map than it actually turned out to be. That there's less castle to it than I would like, and you know, it's nice to have some like outside space to it, but I feel like there's a lot of other rooms and shortcuts to different areas within the castle that they could have done that would have made this map feel a little more seamless in its traversal. Yeah, all in all, I definitely, and I excluded it for a reason, Terminus, Shattered Veil. I don't think I could ever confidently say Citadel is the best map in BO6. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Come at me, man.
Dude, just wrong, bro. That's just the swords are the sickest wonder weapons I've ever seen. Like they're so like they're a top 3 wonder weapon for me, bro. Like they're so fun. Like my gripe with the swords is I wish that there were like 2 to 3 more steps for each one to upgrade it, because like when you do the bows on DE, it feels so rewarding when you get it, because you actually have to do these like pretty difficult, not all of them, but like some of them pretty difficult steps in order to unlock the bow, that it's like rewarding when you get it. On Citadel, I mean, some of that, like, they're just easy. All of them basically, besides the Raven one, and even that one is like nothing like too crazy. But dude, it's like unless you're a high rounder, I don't know, man. Like they do a great job of killing. You charge up the specialist and then you use it, and it's like each sword's ability. Like, have you ever turned on the music, turned on the song Slave, the song of the map, and used the dragon sword, bro? That is like 4 minutes of just like the coolest thing you've ever done in your life. The dragon sword's insane. The stag sword is like, the ability's cool. It's my least favorite of the group, but like visually it's insane. The lion sword, you get first of all, you get the health effect from it as well, but you get like the spinning like the chakra effect, I think, from BO4, that specialist. And then my personal favorite, dude, the Raven. You're like cutting a rift into reality, and all the zombies get like taken into the, dude, it's like the Dark Ether, dude. It's so sick. The swords are so sick, man. I think they do a great job of killing. It is a little weird that you kind of have to get melee macchiato unless you want to swing like super slow or like do less damage or something. That's admittedly pretty annoying. And then the map as a whole, man, like I think it's Citadel is the map that I look at where I wish Treyarch was able to have more time and resources with BO6 and they weren't like rushed to do it, because I think Citadel would be the biggest like benefactor of that. To your point, we would be able to like explore the castle more. There'd be more rooms. I think maybe they could make the atmosphere like darker, so it feels like, I don't know, it just like kind of sets like the zombies feel to it a little bit more. And then to my earlier point, if they had like 2 to 3 more steps for each sword, I think that would make them more rewarding. But yeah, dude, Citadel's so good. I could not disagree with this pick like anymore. It's so good, man. So yeah, I can't say. I guess just touch up on the Guardian real quick. I agree. I think it's still a sick boss, but doesn't do a whole lot of damage. You don't have to like really worry about it too much if you're like a pretty experienced zombies player. Like whenever I play Citadel, I don't like worry about not making it out of the boss fight. So yeah, I mean, I disagree. The swords are so sick, dude. The step where you salute the knights and then give them the sword is that's my favorite step. That's like a top 3 zombie step ever for me. Like Easter egg, it's so sick. It's so sick. The noise that you hear when you salute the dragon knights and the lion knight are, dude, they're insane. I don't know, man. They're good, man. I don't know. I disagree. Dude, I love Citadel. Oh, gosh.
This guy's going for pure vibes.
Dude,
I didn't bring up the incantations. Incantations are sick. I think we can all agree that having unique equipment on a map is also so cool. I brought up in the last episode of the podcast, bringing back the time bomb for Paradox. I'd love it. Yeah. I think maybe a good middle ground, and this is just an idea I had, was if they wanted to do the swords right, I think they could do something like in Origins where you get the swords, they work as they do right now, 2 kills per swipe, but there's some sort of upgraded next level to them, and
Fair.
then they kill more, maybe recharge their special a little faster, something like that. I think it would massively benefit, and for Mr. Easter egg lover, would just only extend the the quest if they were to make that like a you have to do it kind of thing. Yeah, I think there are little things they could do that could improve this map. I think there are maps in BO6 that clearly, in my opinion, outdo Citadel, but is what it is.
Breaking them out. Can we at least agree the swords visually look sick?
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Come on.
My heart's still broken, but I'll take that, I guess. Gosh, man, what a great map. But yeah, I guess we'll move on to number 3 for me. So number 3 is a map that a lot of the people that like the older Zombies games, this is like a top map for them. I've seen multiple tier lists where this is a top 10 map for people. I think it's pure nostalgia. I don't get the same like appeal that these guys, or the map doesn't appeal to me the same that it does apparently for a lot of people. And the map is Doris. I don't know. I played Doris. I'm sure it was cool for the time. I wasn't like keeping up with every Zombies map at the time, but like, I don't know. Like it picks up in terms of lore. I know the lore of Doris is incredible. That's really cool. But again, there's really like just like the rest of the World at War maps. There's like not a lot to do on it. Obviously, you can pack a punch your gun. The teleporters were a pretty cool idea, admittedly, but I don't know. There's just not much to do on it. The map itself isn't like particularly interesting to me. I think I'm just so. I just love the more complex maps so much that when I look back at a map like Doris, or you can, the giant isn't all that different, so you could just lump that in with it as well. Yeah, I guess I just don't have the same. Like I know people have fond memories of like camping on the catwalk and using the PPSH and all that's cool. Like I do appreciate that, but not nearly to the point of it being like a top 10 map for me. I don't know. When I just look back at Doris, I'm just, I don't know, lukewarm to it, I guess. And a lot of people have it as like a top 10 map for them, and they look back at it very fondly, and I just don't feel the same about it. So yeah, I think Doris is my third most overrated map.
Yeah, I think Doris, I'd be hard pressed to put Doris in my top 10. I can see why, and it's the exact reason you said, which is nostalgia. I do think, it's a map that was a product of its time. It's far and away the best of World at War.
World at War, yep. I agree.
Like, I think in today's standards, like, I think it was a perfect, simpler bonus map in the form of the giant in BO3. I think it serves that purpose extremely well. I would, Kino's also a simple map. Spoilers, Kino's not on my list, even though it's absolutely number 1. But like if they were to have made Kino the bonus map to BO3, I would be less interested. I think Doris does what Kino wants to do better before Kino came out. It's a simple pack-a-punch quest, and which was pretty common back in those days. Like Ascension was basically the same thing, just with the lunar landers, stuff like that. It's a great map if you just want to casually kill zombies, but there's so much better. I think everyone knows that. Like story-wise, yeah, I think that aspect of that time was so fun in going around the map and listening to all the radios, especially before we knew anything about the story. Like it really is peak. I miss that time in the story, but no, I agree. It's not meant to be a top 10 map. I don't think it's trying to be, especially because it was the 4th map ever. Like they've definitely done better since then. So it is strange for people to rank it so high. It's clear nostalgia. Yeah, it had the first, if you want to even count it, the first like Easter egg quest. I think that should much more easily go to Ascension. But you know, it's like a fun little thing. They were really like getting their hands dirty a little bit, trying to introduce a lot of stuff, and I respect that. But yeah, not top 10, no chance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to everything you said, yeah, obviously I agree because I was the one that said it was overrated. But like, I guess you have to respect it for introducing Pack-a-Punch and stuff in the same way that you respect and appreciate Noct for introducing zombies and everything. And I think if we keep it at that, where it's like decently fun map if you want to just load in and kill zombies, obviously appreciate that it brought in Pack-a-Punch, but it's you know, we've gotten some absolute gladiators of maps later on, and this map just like doesn't even hold a candle to, you know, the origins of the world and all that. So yeah, I think yeah, I just don't see the same hype for it that other people do. But yeah, it's my piece about Darius. If you think I'm an idiot or something, let me know in the comments. But yeah, without further ado, let's hear what your third most overrated map ever is, AQ Devi.
I think if you've spent any amount of time talking to Shorbzy or I, you'll know that a map like this was coming. A lot of people would put it S tier. A lot of people would put it number 1. I think it fails in a lot of ways. Even you could even argue at its time still, but especially today, I think we've gone far and away above this map's precedent in a lot of factors, and that is Mob of the Dead. Where do I begin with Mob? You know, storyline's cool. We love a celebrity cast. Blundergat, fantastic wonder weapon. I think obviously Mob's biggest failure is not only the length of its quest, but the repetitive nature of having to go and grab all these things to go fly, and then again, and then again. It's there are quests better than that. I mean, for as much as I don't like Die Rise, I think it's got a more go look at Shorbzy's latest video. As much as I don't like Die Rise, it has, I would say, at least a slightly more involved quest, and there is something to be said about like the ending of Mob's quest. It's extremely unique, never been done again, pretty damn cool. But I don't know if that's enough. Like, I don't know, something about Mob, the vibes are there, it's got a lot of things going for it, but it's not the peak in, I could say, maybe any of those things. It doesn't have the greatest crew, it doesn't have the greatest wonder weapon, it doesn't have the greatest aesthetic. So to put it as S tier, it's kind of strange for me. I get why people could argue that. It is a great combination of pretty strong levels to all of those things, but I don't think it necessarily excels to number 1 at any of them. It's not a mid map by any means, but it's definitely not the best map.
Interesting. Yeah, so of course I agree with you. Your first point of anybody that's talked to either of us. Yeah, not much. I mean, granted, Mob's still like A tier for me. So but I agree with every point that you made, Ben. Like, I do love the atmosphere, love the crew, love the Blundergat. Like, it's all good to great, I would say. Especially atmosphere and crew, like super fun. Like the intro cutscene, super fun. Love the atmosphere. Like that's all great. Um, yeah, man. As a certified quest lover, like it just no, like the quest just isn't. It's not fun. It's not particularly great. Super short. At the end, it's really cool when you pick up the like headphones and you get like the story of the island and everything. But yeah, it's just not like it's not a fun replayable quest. It's pretty linear, pretty I guess I don't know, I would just call it boring. Like it's not to me that's why that prevents it from being an S tier. I think if it had a better quest, I would enjoy it personally, but um yeah, to your point, I don't think it like particularly is the best at any given category and obviously the people that put it as their one, they would obviously disagree with you, but no, I'm right there with you. I don't think it's the best at anything. I think it's great. I would say it's great at everything besides Easter egg, and that's enough to keep it in like an A tier for me. So, yeah, I agree with all the points that you made. I think it's a good description of Mob, and I get why it's your number 3.
I think Mob's biggest strength really was coming right off the heels of Transit and Die Rise. It was such a vibe shift and just darkness and broody and this interesting like cycle aspect to it. It is by all means extremely cool. But I think if that map came out today, I don't know. It could be the best of BO6 or something like that, but best of all time, I don't know. I don't see it. It's a great map. A tier, probably lowest, but it's not S tier. It's not the best. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I guess just to spoil my number 2 pick here, it's Mob of the Dead. Yeah, we already kind of laid out all the points that we wanted to make with Mob. I don't really have, I guess, too much to add to it. They, in my opinion, made a better version of it later on with BO4 and Blood of the Dead. Pretty hot take. Not many people will agree with it, but I mean, it's.
I will.
Afterlife, that's his favorite map ever. Blood of the Dead, and I get why, man. Yeah. Like it's another A tier map. In my opinion, it's a little bit better than Mob. And to my earlier point where I said I didn't like the Easter egg, Blood of the Dead, it basically does the exact opposite, where it makes the Easter eggs, like, you could argue too long, too tedious, not simple at all. It's pretty complex, and like you have to dig in for like 3 hours when you're playing the Blood Easter egg. And personally, I would prefer that to something like Mob. So maybe the fact that we saw a better version of it, in my opinion, later on with Blood of the Dead, maybe that factors into why I feel like it's overrated. But yeah, to your point, it's some people's favorite map ever, Mob. It's top 3, top 5. I would say most people, it's a top 5 map for them. And I just can't get there. Can't get there with Mob. So yeah, I'm right there with you. It's your 3. It's my 2. So that's I guess the final thing I'll say about Mob.
Based. Well, Shorbsy, since Mob was your number 2 pick on your list, I'm going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to give us an honorable mention. What is something else that is just way overrated? I guess would be your number 6 pick. What do you got?
All right, so this map, I mean, I think it is guilty of the same sin that Mob is, where atmosphere's off the charts, characters are fun, wonder weapon's fun, but the Easter egg just blows. Like, it's not fun at all. And that map is Zombies in Spaceland, the first map of IW. I mean, I'm gonna talk about the good things, because I really do. I love Zombies in Spaceland, but this is another map that you see in people's top 5, top 3, top 1. And like the arcade is super fun. Obviously, we get the introduction to Ghosts and Skulls, which is the perkaholic basically of IW. You get the roller coaster, just the different areas, dude. It's so like vibrant and fun. Like I understand why people have this as their favorite map ever. Not to mention the wonder pistols, or whatever you call them, the wonder weapon of the map as they hit puberty again. They they're fun. They're fun to get, fun to use. They do these like crazy different animations and stuff. But again, the quest is so unenjoyable to do. Not that it's tedious or anything, but it doesn't feel like a quest. It's just like, to your earlier point where you would say Ascension is like the earliest quest, like the first quest, I guess, that we've gotten in the zombie storyline. It feels like the same length and difficulty as the Ascension Easter egg, and that I mean that in a bad way. Like I think we should be sort of evolving with our Easter eggs as time goes on, and it should not feel like a game that came before it, like 5 years before it, I think, give or take, with IW. Yeah, I love so much about Zombies in Spaceland, but the quest holds it back. The alien boss fight's pretty cool. I don't really have like strong feelings when like visually it's really cool, but again, you just build the Steadicam, defend it 3 times, and then do the boss fight, basically. Like just a real letdown of a
Did you see that?
Yeah, you're getting swatted or something, bro.
No, we have like a little ceiling light that pops on randomly.
That's crazy. Okay.
My bad.
Yeah, I don't get it with Spaceland. I don't get why it's a top 5 map. Like I think for me personally, I think it's like top 20-ish. So I still love it. Like I still love the map, but it can't be top 5 with such a simple, boring Easter egg like that. And that's obviously the exact same gripe I have with Mob. So yeah, Zombies in Spaceland is the honorable mention.
Valid. Like I said at the beginning, I definitely omitted anything non-Treyarch just because I don't have a lot of confidence in my own opinions about them. Just with the amount of playtime, I don't think it's fair to most of those maps that I make any sort of declarative judgment on my part towards them. But obviously, as the launch map, I definitely spent quite a bit on Zombies in Spaceland. Never completed the quest, believe it or not.
There's not much to it.
Hey, apparently, and one day we'll run it together. But I mean, the vibes are immaculate. I'm sure you can't argue against that.
Yeah,
vibes are super cool, super unique, and I think Infinity Ward definitely delivered in something that was pretty well contrasted against what we had already gotten. So I can respect it for that. But yeah, if it's you said an Ascension level quest?
It's like, I'm telling you, man, it is not an elaborate quest at all. Like if you're thinking like a BO3, anything like that, it's not close to that. It's a pretty boring, uneventful quest, and that's for me personally, certified quest guy. Like that's a I can't forgive that. It can't be an S tier if it has a quest like that.
No, that's rough. I've seen the boss fight. Boss fight looks fun. I like alien shit. I think it's pretty cool. Like little green men alien shit. We could talk about apothecans and anything like that. But yeah, I think that's a fair pick with how you've described it to me, and one day I'll have to see for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, when we run it, we'll or at least I'll look forward to hearing what you have to say about it. So
while you're there, and since you only got an honorable mention here, go ahead and give me your number 1, and we'll throw it back to me and see where we go.
All right. So yeah, this is gonna be controversial, of course, as this entire list has been. The number 1 most overrated zombies map of all time is Shadows of Evil, the first map of BO3. Shadows, man, It's a lot of the same talking points of Spaceland and Mob, honestly. Like, atmosphere, off the charts. Super fun, like the round change music, obviously being the jazz, like that's really cool. That seems to sort of grab a lot of people's attention more than it does mine. Like it's cool. A lot of people, that's like the coolest thing ever for them, and that's fine. I mean, it doesn't do the same thing for me. To your point, we were introduced to like the apothegons and stuff, and that's cool. Like I'm a fan of sort of the turn that it takes in terms of the story, but yeah, outside of building the apothecon servants and then the quest itself, it's just not a fun, lengthy quest. I guess maybe I would argue that the Pack-a-Punch quest is pretty cool. I think that's a good, pretty complex Pack-a-Punch quest that we didn't see up to that point. There were like, I mean, they were decently complex, but nothing to that level. But yeah, I mean, the skybox is super fun. It is a little crazy if you like actually try to pay attention to the small details. Like there's like apple carts nearby, and it's the funniest looking. Like they look like the graphics are so bad, and you can definitely see sort of the age of BO3. Even like looking out at like the skyscrapers in the distance, like it's pretty rough. But like I'm not gonna fault Shadows. Like that doesn't factor into why it's not like a top map for me. Again, it's just the quest. I don't have a good time doing the quest. It's super bland. It's short. I don't know. I can't get into it. It's yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. The apothecon sword is whatever. The civil protector is whatever. Beast mode's fun. I gotta admit that. I think beast mode, like playing onto the afterlife side of things, which we didn't really touch on with Mob. That's a really cool aspect of Mob. I gotta say that. As even if I think the map overall is overrated. Big fan of afterlife. And then they sort of do their own spin on that in Shadows with beast mode, where you can see the hooks that you need to grapple onto and then like shock the power boxes. I think that's a really fun, innovative way of having people open the map up. But again, same issues I have with the other ones. Even though everything else, in my opinion, is fantastic, it's the quest. I don't have a good time. Every time I load up into a map, I want to do the main quest. And yeah, with Shadows, it's just like I personally have no reason, unless I want to like build the apothecon servant, but I could just box for it on Rev at the same time. Like there's truly no reason for me to play Shadows, especially when it's in a game of other maps that have phenomenal atmospheres as well. Like for me personally, there's no draw to Shadows of Evil. And yeah, that's why, in my opinion, it's the most overrated zombies map of all time.
Well, you got me back. Spoilers.
One
Shadows
second.
was
I gotta cut you off here. The boss fight is a joke. The Shadows boss, like, as somebody that loves Zetsubo, that boss fight's a joke, but at least the rest of it's really cool. The Shadows of Evil boss fight, like, it's so, and you can only complete the Easter egg with 4 players. Like, yeah, there's I don't know, man. Like, we saw you could do the Origins Easter egg solo. I don't know why they reverted back to doing a 4-player Easter egg. And yeah, I don't know, man. It annoys me. I don't get the same. I don't have the same love for it that other people do. And yeah, I just want to point out that the boss fight is like horrifically bad. So sorry to cut you off, AQW. Just wanted to point that out there.
No, you're good, bro. Yeah, I didn't even think about the boss fight. Yes, you got me back. Shadows was my number 2 pick. There's something to be said about the fact that a lot of ideas about why Mob is so overrated carry over to Shadows, just because I feel like those maps are very intertwined, especially lore wise. Like there are mentions of Mob characters and Shadows. I think they take place in the same sort of pocket universe. So it is weird that it kind of has extremely similar downfalls compared to Mob. Yeah, I think Shadow's biggest benefit is, once again, vibes, and the Apothecon Servant's pretty cool. I'm not necessarily, it's not my favorite. I know why people like it. It's just a point and delete weapon. We all love those. I think the ammo count, of course, leaves something to be desired, but with its damage, very justified. And the vibes of that weapon as well, super cool. But yeah, I cannot forgive the fact that in the big, was it 2015? They were still going for mandated co-op Easter eggs. That just pisses me off. As someone that has almost always been a solo player, it just hurts. It forced me to have to go into some random public match before I made all these zombie buddies just to complete this thing. And yes, boss fight, ass. Can't believe they brought it back. At least the Rev boss fight was, there was more to it with the elemental Margwas and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fine map. It is, and it's a good map coming off the heels of BO2, and they very clearly took consideration into the strongest maps of BO2, which were Mob and Origins. They definitely went for a more complex, there was more complexity compared to other BO2 maps, so they definitely leaned into that, and I can respect that, and I can respect Blundell for that. But just looking at it in the lens in 2026, it's strange. This, in my opinion, is absolutely a victim of revisionist history. Everyone hated Shadows when it first came out, and anyone that's like, oh, I loved it the whole time, fuck out of here. No, you didn't. You didn't. You were confused. Why? What's with this hentai map? Don't give me that shit. And look, it is a fine map by all means. I could put it neck and neck with Mob, probably a little behind, in my opinion. But like, it's like we both said, like it shares similar flaws to Mob, and that's just you know, the way Blundell wanted to do his maps, and you know, it was a swing, and yeah, I can't get behind number one. No way, no how. I don't know if I'm just a Modern Zombies enjoyer, but it just doesn't hold a candle to a lot of maps that have come out since then. And that's okay. Like, I get wanting to root for the underdog that was Shadows at the time because it was so strange, so different. But it's not number one. It was never number one. It's a fine map at the end of the day.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I don't remember who said this, but it's always stuck with me. Where Mob and Shadows, to your earlier point, is so similar, and Origins and Drak are so similar to each other that a lot of times, if you like one, then you like the other, and of course, if you don't like one, then you don't like the other. And I mean, that's a very true, at least for me personally, that's a very true statement. Like, I'm a big Origins DE guy, and then yeah, when it comes to Mob and Shadows, I can do without them. So yeah, it's funny the similarity that they share with each other, and like to your point, the flaws that they both share. So in the same way you gave me an honorable mention for you stealing Mob from me, because I stole Shadows from you, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the opportunity to give the people an honorable mention. So yeah, what's your I guess your sixth most overrated map ever?
Oh man.
I don't like this.
Oh. Yeah, it was gonna go on the list, and then I remembered Citadel.
Crazy. That's crazy,
bro. I don't have a high level of confidence for this. Just beware. Maybe don't come at me too hard, but yeah, I don't really have much of a leg to stand on. It's just a map that never attached to me in the way that it did a lot of other people. I don't have a ton of experience with this map, and I think that's just the byproduct of the impression I kind of got from it. And that's going to be Ancient Evil.
Oh,
man. I think, in my opinion, least favorite Chaos map.
Whoa, man, that's crazy. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna sound like kind of like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and that might be right. What's the elite on that map called?
Oh, it's the Giganese. It's like the giant like gladiator thing with like 6 arms or something. Dude, it's so sick. I can't believe.
Fuck
Okay.
that guy.
Dude, what?
What
it's
a
so
bitch.
Sick.
Okay, he looks really cool.
Yes.
I can't even deny that. But God, what a bullet sponge. Oh
Fair.
my God.
Fair.
And and if I remember right, he's like throwing spears at you and shit.
Yep.
Go to hell. I don't know. So I have gotten at least to the boss fight. You know, the Pegasus, pretty damn cool. You talked about in your tier list, you know, it is very similar to like Garad in that the Pegasus brings you to pack a punch. That's cool. It's been done before, unfortunately, which is a minor step down. It's still really sick. And like you said in your video, like it is a twist on that. Aesthetically, I don't know. Something about Ancient Evil just did not do it for me, man.
Really?
Yeah, I could argue that it might be better than Voyage, but I really like the Stoker on Voyage, and man, the gauntlets are cool. The gauntlets are really cool. I need to go back to Ancient Evil because it may just be a matter of I'm not seeing something else. I'm not seeing what other people see because I haven't spent enough time on it, but my initial impressions in getting up to the boss fight didn't complete it, but I don't know. Something about it just didn't hit, unfortunately, and I wish it did.
Dang, dude, I'm an Ancient Evil lover. I will say there is a small part of me where when I play it, I'm like, I feel like I should like this map more. And like, I say all of this while still loving Ancient Evil, but essentially what I'm saying is it feels like it should be an S tier map for me, but it's just not quite there. You
have said that before, yeah.
And it doesn't have like the flaws that like the shadows, like the Easter egg's good. Like it's a fun egg. I enjoy doing it. But dude, like the atmosphere is so good. The hands are so good. Doing the like challenges for Oracle? Yeah, doing the challenges for Oracle, the actual like upgrading of the hands, dude. It's so fun. Like it's such a cinematic Easter egg. Like the map changes so much from the different things that you do. Like, dude, I love Ancient Evil. It's such a good time playing it. Not to mention, like I said, the visual of like taking Pegasus to like the center of it's either the center of the world or the center of the earth. Like that hit puberty again. That entire area is super fun. Like it looks insane, dude. I love the atmosphere of Ancient Evil. If I can finish one thought, the atmosphere of Ancient Evil is phenomenal. Like, I disagree with this. Maybe you need to play it one more time. There is a small part of me that does understand the feeling of like something's off here, but I gotta say, I do disagree with this. I'm an Ancient Evil lover.
In like picking my brain about what feels off about it, I'm thinking like the underground center of the earth sort of section is really cool. I'd say the regular map outside of that, though, something about it to me just feels very claustrophobic in a bad way. Not like Dead of the Night. Dead of the Night's sick as hell, and it feels claustrophobic, but in a way that makes sense. Like you're in this mansion and all these like corridors, like that makes sense. But something about the main map of Ancient Evil, like even though like you can see the sky,
Right.
like by all means it looks open, but something about it feels just very claustrophobic and closed in, and I don't think the map needed to be. I mean, 9 kind of did a similar thing with a pretty damn similar vibe. I think they could have gone in a different direction. I don't know. You're gonna have to run it with me and show me what you like so much about it. You made me a Zetsubo lover.
Dude, absolutely. I would love to run. Dude, it's so good. Yeah. There's just like, you have to appreciate, this is kind of the thing with BO4 is there's so much to appreciate about the maps, but the zombies are so cracked out that you don't have time to like sit and admire things. So maybe I'll just take an absolute beating while I just let you kind of like explore the map and, and appreciate it for what it is.
Hell yeah.
It's so good, dude. Gosh. So yeah, it breaks my heart a little bit, but I respect. And I do understand it just a little bit as to the feeling of there's something more should be going on right now. All right, so that's the honorable mention. I appreciate you sharing your feelings about that. I have a pretty bad, I don't know what your one is, but I have a horrible feeling about it. And I feel like my heart's about to be broken more than it already has been. So without further ado, I'm going to set you up here. What's your most, the AQW most overrated zombies map of all time?
This one's gonna hurt a lot of people. I'm definitely in the minority on this. Of course, I'm calling it overrated. It is by all means a great map. Definitely better than Mob. Definitely better than Shadows. It's not the best of its game, but people constantly call it the best and of all time. And the fact that it's not the best in its game speaks volumes about that opinion. I would say the most overrated map, especially recently, is gonna be Der Eisendrache.
No. Okay. You're killing me, man.
And it hurts to put it here because it's a great map. It's probably the second best of Black Ops 3. Zetsubo, number 1. You made a believer out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Something about that map, Der Eisendrache, it just doesn't connect. And not in the way that Ancient Evil doesn't connect. Because I have played plenty of Der Eisendrache. The lightning bow, fantastic. Most of the bows are fantastic. I could make a case for lightning bow being the best wonder weapon, period, full stop.
Yeah.
I think the minor changes to the Panzer, kind of lame, kind of cheap. But like you said, it kind of draws a parallel to Origins in a way. So it makes sense. I wish it would have done a little more. I wish it didn't have shock charges. That pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's a skill issue, but whatever. The quest is cool. It really is. I mean, blowing up the moon as a direct parallel to moon, it is really cool. And you brought it plenty of times, you know, having Groff in your ear, bickering back and forth with Richtofen, super sick. I think some of the big flaws that I would like to point out would be the ass end of the Easter egg leaves a little bit to be desired. The boss fight, I do not care for the DE boss fight. It's just dark. Shit's popping out of the shadows, and at times downs feel unfair, especially when you factor in the sort of wipe that the giant keeper does. Yeah, I think the ending of the Easter eggs with Takio and Nikolai, fantastic. That, like, the dialogue is very palpable, especially because they are directly interacting with their parallel selves. Dempsey is just coffined up, and you know, Dempsey's kind of playing like, oh, this sucks, but like, I don't know, I don't even get that like sense from Dempsey. It kind of feels out of character in a way. The map itself, I guess the complexity of the map feels very solid, but man, I wish I saw it the way other people see it. At its time, absolutely great, especially off the heels of Shadows. But I think I could argue better stuff came before, and definitely better stuff has come since. I could maybe, it's got to be top 10 at least, but probably not top 5 for me, sadly.
Interesting. Gosh, as somebody, I guess I agree with you. Like, it's not top 5 for me either, but I don't think it's, I guess I wouldn't call it overrated, but I guess to address some of the points that you make, yeah, the bows are super fun to make. I guess part of me will agree. I think like maybe we could have done something cooler than filling up the souls. Although like using the different bows to fill up the different souls, especially if it's a 4-player thing, and how you have to rely on each different player to sort of use their bow to fill up the souls. It's definitely, I guess, more problematic in a co-op game, because like on solo you're just ripping the lightning bow and it's like super easy, but like yeah, try having like relying on somebody that's using like the fire bow to like defend everybody in the circle for an entire round. And yeah, I mean, Groff like slowly losing his trust in Richtofen as the egg goes on, just to ultimately shoot a million rockets at the moon. Dude, it's, I don't know, man. I'm cheesing right now just thinking about the DE Easter egg. It's grown on me so much over time. I used to like not care for it too much, but like I said, it's made its way easily into my top 10, and I think it's like borderline top 5 for me. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because I also love Origins, and the earlier point that I made, like they're just so similar to each other that I'm just a sucker for like elemental wonder weapons or something. But yeah, dude, I really like the DE Easter egg. I love the atmosphere is insane. It's a castle map, of course. That's the second castle map that you've decided to rip on in your overrated maps. That we've gotten 2 castle maps and you've ripped on both. So, you know,
I am not a fan of medieval castles, clearly.
I guess I would wonder, does this have anything to do with how we dashboarded the first time we played it, and how you didn't get the gate worm for the achievement there, and we had to rerun it, and then we died a bunch of times. I'm pretty sure.
I forgot about that. I think we fucked up that quest twice.
Okay.
I think so. No, yeah,
that was painful.
You just reopened a wound, and yeah, now it's definitely the most overrated.
But no, in terms of, I think you actually brought up like good points. Like I never thought about them. In the boss fight, like it is like really dark, and it's sometimes hard to see what exactly is going on. And I've never, I guess, thought about, like, I hear people say, "Oh, it feels like I'm taking an unfair down." I've heard people say that with Vaetherion. I've heard people say that with Caltheris. I guess you could say the same thing about the Richtofen side of the Reckoning boss fight. But I've never actually like felt like those were unfair downs. But you mentioning DE, there's actually been so many times where I've gone down in the boss fight. I'm like, I don't even know what just happened. Like, I was running away from these like floating skulls, and then I just like got hit. Like, if what felt like once, and then I'm down now. Or like when the Panzer spawn in, and you're just getting like shock charge to the skull like 1,000 times, and all of a sudden you're down. And like, again, they have the flamethrowers as well, which is a I mean, obviously, like, you have that in Origins, but pairing that with the shock charges, something that slows you down and stuns you, like, that's a, like, demonic thing to pair with each other. So, you know, I think you make a good point with the boss fight. It does feel like you're taking some unfair downs, but I don't know, man.
That boss fight feels like the epitome of that, like, Moon Knight meme, where it's like, random bullshit, go. There's so much shit. But they've clearly grown past that with boss fights, like far and away the biggest upgrade in the modern era.
Yeah, it's just, dude, DE is so cinematic. I love it. Like the song that plays while you're shooting the rockets, and of course in Ashes we get a callback to that when we launched the rocket. I was of course cheesing when that happened, and yeah,
it's
dude,
a callback to Moon though, as well. DE was using the same song from Moon at the end of the egg, and then of course Ash. It's just the rocket liftoff theme, I guess.
I didn't know that song was on Moon.
Pretty sure it's the same song that plays as you're launching the rockets towards the Earth. Okay,
interesting. And do you do that like basketball motion while you're launching them as well? The little hand flick there. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, man. I love DE. I've disagreed with a lot of your list, but again, I mean, gotta respect it, I guess. So, yeah, that's I think that's it for both of our lists, I believe.
It hurts, but it's gotta be said. But what about you guys? What do you consider the most overrated Call of Duty Zombies map? A map that does not deserve the placement it tends to get? Comment your thoughts down below, and if at any point you found yourself enjoying this video, a like, comment, subscribe to both channels at AQDevi and at ShorBZ are very much appreciated. But until next time, this has been the Pack Mentality Podcast, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Sweet. Yeah, dude, that was fun. I actually like really enjoyed that.